In the wake of knocking some people's socks off with the generally welcome, however brief, unique Frightfulness series, Marianne, French chief Samuel Bowden moves into highlights with the outwardly convincing, however at last disheartening chiller, Spider Web. Composed by Chris Thomas Devlin, who made a pass at reviving the Texas trimming tool slaughter establishment in 2022. The content arrived on the boycott among the best unproduced screenplays of 2018, as well as its shop partner, The Blood Rundown. That family obviously assisted draw a strong cast and specialties with joining. However, after a promising setup, the story's interior rationale gets mixed. It effectively defies the natural family dynamic of parents as protectors of the vulnerable by giving the young protagonist, Peter Woody Norman, from Fumon Simon, reason to fear his mother and father, Carol, Lizzie Kaplan, and Mark, Anthony Starr, and the audience reason to believe their apparent malevolence. The film is set a week before Halloween and relies for a good portion of its runtime on the reliable horror trope of the threat coming from within the house. Although how much of this is the result of what Peter's mother refers to as his overactive imagination is the central mystery of the story. Harassed at school, Peter is a thoughtful, lone youngster with a mop of hair that brings to mind Danny Torrance, similarly as DP Philip Lozano's slippery following shots around the family home follow the nerve-destroying Steadicam successions in the ignore-in hallways in the sparkling. At the point when Peter fires awakening around midnight to a bizarre tapping sound coming from inside his room walls, Diddy excuses it as the unavoidable squeaks and moans of any old house, this one lit in never-ending melancholy to elevate the youngster's disquiet. Mark says it's probably rodents in the walls, sprinkling poison from a huge sack that essentially reports itself as Chekhov's weapon. Release date: Spider Web was delivered in restricted performance centers by Lionsgate in the US on July 21, 2023. Even when Peter's kind substitute teacher, Miss Devine, Cleopatra Coleman, comes by to show his parents a morbid drawing the boy did in class, showing him crying "Help me" in a darkened room, Carol dismisses her with more annoyance than concern. Peter learns from his parents that a girl who lived at the end of the street in a boarded-up house disappeared on Halloween and was never found years before he was born. That is the explanation they will not let him go house to house asking for candy. However, the additional time Peter burns through alone in his room, the more he begins speaking with the baffling presence in the walls, which moves on from thumping to full discussions. At the point when the bodiless voice urges Peter to stand up against Brian Luke Buzzi, his harassing foe at school, his activities get him removed, prompting brutal discipline from his dad. It's right now that the vile side of Peter's folks turns out to be for all intents and purposes inarguable, and a return visit from Miss Devine makes them answer with preventiveness that lines on aggression. Peter has no trouble believing the voice coming from the wall of his bedroom when it tells him that his parents are not what they seem. Pressure heightens as Moore had some significant awareness of tune and imprint's dim mystery and the at first concealed presence in the house. However, notwithstanding powerful work from the entertainers, the film loses as opposed to get some forward momentum. While there's a conspicuous obligation to Wes Timid's individuals under the steps, the more Devlin's screenplay does to make sense of the mystery behind the secret entryways and inside the walls, the less lucid everything becomes. The winding of savage massacre will conceivably convey for crowds uninterested about the plot checking out. Relatives, yet in addition Brian and his thuggish, more established cousins become targets. Lozano's visuals are reliably capturing with fabulous utilization of shadows to dangerous impact. Furthermore, the apparently changed score by Italian excursion jump writer Sophia Holtquist, referred to expertly as drum and ribbon, is a guardian, beginning with exquisite restriction prior to clearing a path for additional unpropitious notes and just slowly rising into out-and-out disorder.